Hey guys, I'm Alexandra, and as you know, I'm from Tilburg, from the Netherlands. And today in my video I'm going to talk about motherhood, parenting in the Netherlands, and particularly a daycare tradition in the Netherlands. Okay, let's get started. I want to start with interesting information that the maternity leave in the Netherlands usually lasts 3 months. Yeah, I know for many people it can be normal. For those who are watching me, for so many people it can sound very strange and odd, especially those who are coming from like former USSR country like in Russia, where we have our maternity leave lasting 3 years, I think. And yeah, but this is the way it works here. Usually women have I believe it's 16 weeks, so some people can correct me on that. They have a month before their due date when they stop working, and after that they have 3 months with their baby. Shortly after that, most of the Dutch women have to go back to work. Yeah, that's pretty tough. But the positive part about it is that most of the Dutch women work part-time, so they have very flexible schedule. So usually daycare is being combined with grandparents care, let's say, like when children spend time at the grandparents' house while their parents have to work. Sometimes it's being combined with your partner's schedule, when both people work part-time, and the day when you work your partner is not working. But the whole thing is sending your child at the daycare while he or she is just 3 months old is a very controversial thing. If you want to know my opinion about it, I'm very much against that practice. I'm not really blaming people who do that, and I don't think that ultimately all Dutch people are bad parents or Dutch moms are bad moms. I think that's something what the government makes people to do, or kind of forces them, or makes their life, organizes their life in a certain way that they sometimes maybe don't have any other choice, but a lot of times they actually do. And it's not really their the necessity for them in many cases, to go to work, because they will literally be out of money. No, like Dutch people, they have a very social government, so there are so many ways to be able to stay home, even though those ways sometimes are not really straight and completely honest. But if this person, particular person's woman or man with family, they do not want to send their child to a daycare at 3 months old, they can actually do that. There are some ways to do that, but a lot of times people do it just because they want to buy more fancy stuff, go to luxury vacations, or buy some cool things, or live in a better house. And yeah, they think this is the best they can do in their situation. I mean, I understand that there's so many people who just want to keep their jobs. They have made a career and they don't want to lose their position. There's so many things, so I'm trying not to be judgmental, in this matter. But if you want to know my personal opinion, for me it doesn't sound natural. When a 3 months old baby is being taken away from mom like for 2 or 3 days a week, in being put in daycare with some other babies and some other toddlers, where like one woman, I believe now, can take care of 6 children, I think, and only 2 of them can be babies, something like that. But still, we all know how much attention a baby needs. They really need us all, and like they need someone who will be very much in tune with their feelings, with their emotions, who knows them very well, who can respond quickly. If you want to know, like, I'm not really a complete fan, but I respect attachment theory very much. I don't know if you ever heard of this before. You can read some information on YouTube, watch some information on YouTube, or read some stuff on the internet, a bit more about the attachment theory. But I really believe that this attachment relationship the child creates with a man caregiver, like in the other caregivers, like usually it's like max 3 in the first year of life, are very important. And to create this attachment relationship with a strange person who's just doing their job professionally, it's hardly possible. This woman, she can be nice, those relations can happen, but it's something very difficult to do because it's very chaotic there. There's so many children. Some children come that day, some children come the other day, and obviously, I've spoken with nannies who work in those daycares. They like to call themselves more fancier words in Dutch, like the teachers and this kind of stuff, but in fact they're just nannies. Excuse me. Don't want to humiliate anyone. It's a perfect profession to do a good job, but they're just nannies. That's it. And they have told me that, oh, really, we don't have time for that. It's like, oh, can you actually, like, I don't know, like sing a song or give some time to this baby, to fall asleep, for instance, for their naps, because babies in the first year of life, they sleep a lot. Can you give this attention to them? And like, oh no, we don't have time for that, so just next one. Excuse me for using so much gestures, but that's how it really was described to me. And I don't think that's particularly good for any child. Maybe there are some babies with such an easy temperament that can fall asleep very easily, can relax very easily, but still, even them, like, all babies want to be with their moms. It's actually not my phrase, but the phrase of a woman that I have met while walking around in my neighborhood. A couple of weeks ago I met a woman, and she was with a baby about my son's age. I was a girl, and I asked her if she's going to daycare. Of course I expected to say yes, because it's a normal situation here. And she said, not really, because I work just 2 days a week. One day my husband is watching her, the other day my mom. So like, oh, that's actually very nice. And I said, where do you work? She said, I work in daycare. And then I got particularly interested. I said, you work in daycare, but you're not sending your own daughter there. Like, why? She said, because those who work there will not want to send their child there. I was so surprised, but she said, like, yeah, it's not the best place for a child to be. It's so busy. There's no individual type of attention. It's so fast, it's like a factory, like quickly eating, quickly this, that, and yeah, that's how that is. And I was very much surprised, and she was not the first person who told me so. I had an ex-neighbor of mine, the girl who used to work in a daycare as well, and she also told me that she doesn't want her child to go there. But in Netherlands there are more options than just daycare after 3 months maternity leave. Parents can also have choice to send their children to a place that is called Gastouders. It's like I don't know how it's called in English. Is it the family, like the parents and the guest parents, basically? If you translate exactly from Dutch, it sounds like guest parents. So it's a family who organizes a small kindergarten at home. Yeah, it's a more home environment. And that's that girl who was the ex-neighbor of mine. She said that this is the only place she would want her son to be if she had to go back to work, because it's more relaxed, it's not as fast. And she also told me that we have situations when a child cries like 50 or 20 minutes, and we're just simply busy. We just can't really be there with the child. We can't run there. And I understand if you give me all these children once, even though I will try to do my best to take care of all of them, I mean, it won't be always possible, because a toddler just fell and hurt himself. The other one baby is crying because he wants to be with his or her mom, can't fall asleep. The other baby is crying because just his tooth coming. The other toddler is pooped himself. And like you shouldn't really make any illusions. A lot of people really try to promote it as like a super nice thing to raise your child socially. But excuse me, 4 months old baby needs socialization? Like, are you serious? Since when? Have you ever read at least one book about children's psychology, developmental psychology? At least one article, at least research something about it. It's impossible. All babies want to be with their moms. That's one of a woman I met with a little girl who works in daycare told me, and I totally agree with that. They need to stay close. Women can't even finish breastfeeding normally, even if it goes fine, because they have to rush to work. And a lot of Dutch women have this idea, this independency, that woman has to work, she has to have her own money, this like, I'm like, you have a man, you know, he has to take care of you. I mean, there is nothing wrong with that, in my opinion. He's not the one who gets pregnant, he's not one who goes through labor and delivery, he's not the one who breastfeeds, like, you know, he's not the one who has this hormonal things changing going on. Like, yeah, that's his prime duty, to provide for the family. And for me, it's just so strange to see that, you know, a lot of Dutch women believe in this fake independency from men. But why do you need to be independent from him? Like, what's scary about the dependency? Like, are you living in some kind of country where women have no rights? What he can do to you? You're not depending on him. He's taking care of the family. Everyone does their function. You know, you're giving yourself, your time, your attention, your love, your patience to your child, and he's providing for the family. Like, what's wrong in that? But a lot of Dutch people just can't accept that. Not everyone. I've met different families, you know, I met different people with different priorities, but unfortunately a lot of times this is the case. Like, women so much afraid of losing their independence, and they think they're independent from men. I think that there's equality, but I'm like, it's not equality, it's like the lack of respect. You have been pregnant for 9 months. You've been doing an amazing job. You have been creating a life. You know, you sacrifice so much of your body and strength for 9 months, and after that you're going through all this recovery, and you don't deserve even a year to actually spend with your baby, because this is a right, that's a complete right of a baby to have mom close, to be close to a mom or to a dad, not some strange woman who's no one to them. Don't lie to yourself. You can get lucky, it happens, you know, you can get lucky that you get a nice stuff and somehow it works, you know, it clicks with your baby just fine. But still, you know, even like in the same room, how can you put all these babies to sleep, you know? Some baby doesn't feel well, another one will cry, will wake up the other one. It's a very chaotic situation, but a lot of Dutch people just like, oh, you have to teach them, they have to learn how to fall asleep by themselves, they have to learn how to do. I mean, I do think it's a wonderful thing. I'm not a complete fan of this attachment parenting style when you're complete for prolonged breastfeeding, co-sleeping. Not really. My child is sleeping on his own bed, and I've been teaching him to do so, but I think it should be soft. It shouldn't be like you're giving your child to a strange woman who has no feelings for your child. Don't lie to yourself. There may be that she can get some sympathy, or she will enjoy your child for some reason, but maybe she will be totally indifferent, or perhaps she will not even like your child, but she will do her job professionally. And it's like so strange. I met so many Dutch people who are telling me in the face like, oh yeah, like your son Nathan, he's like 10 months, yeah, oh, like he played nice with his, I don't know, like cousin or something. Oh yeah, but because he's not really usually playing with children his age. Like, are you kidding me? 10 months old playing with each other? Since when that has existed, you know? It's nonsense. What you're saying is complete nonsense. Children of 10 months don't play with each other. The max that they do, that they play right next to each other. It's called parallel play. And I feel like there's so much of brainwashing going on in Dutch culture about this daycare and about how wonderful it is and how all kids that need it from 4 months old. Because like, oh, if you put 2 babies together, they look so cute, and they communication, I mean, yes, they look so cute, but you can meet your friend with the baby, put 2 of your babies together, make pictures of them and say, oh, they look so cute, and then go back home. For that, you shouldn't really go to daycare and leave your child there alone with a woman who is no one to them. You know, and this age is just so young. There has been so much research on that matter as well, and I'm so surprised that Dutch people completely ignore that. There's so much research about the harmful or negative effect of daycare for young children, because this situation raises their cortisol level, and once cortisol level has been risen, there's so much potential danger. This cortisol can trigger a whole lot of negative body response, And I don't want to make you scared, because I know so many women do have to make that choice, especially in the States, when maternity leave is not, it's not really completely regulated, you know, and so many women just have to, and the government is not really involved much in that, in helping, you know, women. And I know how much struggle it can be, but you have to understand the Netherlands is not the United States. The government is much more present in people's life in the Netherlands. Even though being elected and still democracy and everything, but government is so much more in people's life here than in the States. And for me, it's just sometimes very, very strange to see that, unfortunately, you know, Dutch people, especially Dutch women, believe in this equality thing, you know, when they've been kicked to work after 3 months. For me, it's just a disrespect that your man is not choosing to take care of you. You know, he's choosing to kick you to work. I understand them in different situations when a woman has a great profession and great career and she doesn't want to lose it. You know, maybe she's a surgeon who's practicing and she can't really stay like for years at home. I understand, and I'm not really saying it's entirely bad. I think they can work, but it's in such a young age, it's more potentially dangerous than beneficial. And you have to keep that in mind, and, you know, try to weigh all the pros and cons, you know, to make a right decision for yourself and for your child. And yeah, prioritize the right thing. You know, your child will grow one day and you will have your whole life when you'll have to work. And by putting him or her in such a stressful situation, it can really trigger a lot of bad stuff. And the thing is, about small babies, they're not verbal yet. They can't really express what's exactly bothering them. They can get sick very often, and you will not understand why. You think like, oh, that's just because they go to daycare. Partly that's true. Yeah, children, you know, they constantly give each other some kind of viruses and all kinds of things. That's correct. But also they can be because your child is stressed. You might not show any other symptoms of stress. Children, they experience stress very differently from adults. First of all, he or she cannot talk. He or she cannot tell you that he's actually missing you. He's actually hurt. And this woman is around him, he kind of used to get along with, but he's not particularly enjoying. He or she can be extremely difficult at home, like with you, and being super perfect there. But it's not because he's just like, oh, being not nice to his mom. Just because with mom they can actually open up and bring all this emotions of pain, loneliness, discomfort, and be themselves. But there, with a strange woman who is, you know, hardly anyone to them, it will not happen. But as I said again, that can happen that your child has clicked with that woman. But I really believe at the young age, especially before a year or year and a half, it's completely unnecessary. Your child is not losing anything, because Dutch people really believe if your child doesn't go to daycare, he or she will be some kind of social freak. But you know, most of the children around the world growing at home with brothers, sisters, parents, grandparents, or just with the parents, or just with one parent, being perfectly social. The first time I attended any form of daycare was when I was 5. And I'm totally fine, you know, I can communicate with anyone. I lived in different countries. I moved here, like, I'm making this video. I'm not afraid that you're gonna watch it and, I don't know, look at me while I don't see you. So I don't have any problems with that. The same thing shouldn't be, yeah, for everyone. But again, this is just my opinion. This is just what I'm sharing with you. I would really like to know how it's going on in your country. What about the daycare practice? How early women go back to work? And what do you think about all of this? When it comes to work and career, that's very important for me to mention. If I had real necessity to go back to work and I had an amazing and brilliant career, I would probably go for an option of a nanny, you know, just a person who actually builds a good relationship with my child while I'm away, and my child has a good attachment relationship with this person as well, knowing that I may not be the most significant one, especially if I would be working full-time, because he would spend more time with his nanny than with me. That can happen, but still I would prefer that rather than just sending your child in daycare and making them wait for the diapers to be changed and for their cry to be respond. By not responding to your child's crying or desire for tangible physical contact, you're not making him stronger. You're actually giving them the feeling you don't really matter. Your cryings don't really matter to this world. And that's what I'm completely convinced of. But you can have another opinion, and I totally respect that, and I would be happy if you share with me your own opinion about this. I think I have said all I wanted to say about the Dutch daycare thing. Just to be clear, because I haven't mentioned, Dutch women are also able to extend their maternity leave up to 6 months, but other 3 months they are not paid. So, but it's still the option. So many people do that, and I think it's very good. But I just share my own experience, my own perception of things. Tell me how it's going on in your country, and what do you think about bringing your child to a daycare so early, and perhaps what do you think about the attachment theory, if you ever heard of this before, if you agree with this or disagree, or you just have some respect to it and take it into account. So any feedback, any comments, any likes, I highly appreciate it. It was nice talking to you and telling you a bit more about my own perception of things, and see you in my next videos. Bye.